Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Today we are going to study the focus on. As you know, the focus on is a very important lesson. So because it talks about a local topic or the Kuwaiti topic, here we are going to read a brief note or a review about a famous Kuwaiti character. Her name is Sheikha Saad Muhammad Sabah. You are going to read this short passage to answer my questions. Please read it as quickly as possible. And you are going to see here some of her photos. Sheikha Saad Muhammad Sabah. Please open your student's book on page number 52. This is one of her one of her books. She has written Mubarak As-Sabah, The Foundation of Kuwait. This book was written by Sheikha Saad As-Sabah. So, what do you know about Sheikha Saad Muhammad Sabah? Ibrahim Abdul Nasser.
She is a famous Kuwaiti writer.
Yes, very good. She's a famous Kuwaiti writer. Al-Falaki.
Was born in 1942 and graduated from the Faculty of Economics.
Faculty, yes. Very good.
Faculty of Economics.
Yes. Khalid Shamsuddin.
She is a famous poet and writer.
Good. عمرو محمود.
لا كنت أقول نفس خالد.
Okay. So here from this note we know that she is a famous Kuwaiti poet and writer. Second question was answered by Abdullah Mustafa Al-Falaki. When and where was she born? Abdullah?
She born in Kuwait and she was born in 1942.
دايما الفعل born يا يكون باسف. ما قلتش she born، لا she was born. She was born in 1942 in Kuwait. Yes. So
she was born in 1942 in Kuwait.
Very good. So she is one of the famous Kuwaiti poet and writers from the ruling family من الأسرة الحاكمة من أسرة الصباح. Okay, good. What were her achievements? One of you said that she graduated from Cairo University, or she got a certificate or university degree in economics, etc. Omar Ahmed, what were her achievements? Yes, Omar. Try again, Omar. Ibrahim Mukhtar.
Hello, sir.
Yes. What were her achievements?
She wrote many economic and
economic and political essays. Very good. Ayub bin Farid.
She has published several books of poetry.
Very good. Ilari?
She got a doctorate in economics from the United Kingdom in 1981.
Thank you. Azuddin?
She founded her publishing and distribution house.
Distribution. Very good. So here, let's read some of her achievements. She founded her publishing and distribution house, as Azuddin said. يبقى هي أنشأت وأسست دار النشر الخاصة بها، دار النشر والتوزيع. This lesson, as I told you, is important because you are going to answer the question, or you have a translation exercise from Arabic into English. So Sheikh Saad Muhammad Sabah founded her publishing and distribution house. She published several books of poetry. زي ما قال أيوب نشرت العديد من كتب الشعر. She established a literary prize that carries her name. يعني أنشأت وأسست جائزة أدبية تحمل اسمها. She established a literary prize that carries her name. She wrote many economic and political essays زي ما قال إيه إبراهيم. يبقى كتبت إيه العديد من المقالات السياسية والاقتصادية. Okay, good. Now, you are going to see here on the left side, this is one of her poems which was translated into English. This translation was by Dr. Shihab Al-Gham.
استاذ معلش حضرتك لسه داخل. انا يوسف ياسر
Never
حضرتك
mind
لسه
Yusuf. Yusuf Yasser, okay. Now you are going to listen to Sheikh Saad Muhammad Asbah reading her poem in Arabic. And then we are going to read the translation. Sheikh Muhammad Sabah, as you know, she is a famous Kuwaiti poet and writer. She is reading now a poem written by her talking about the tortured people and the children in Palestine. Here, the Palestinian people are suffering from the Israeli attack. Please listen to her reading her poem, and then we are going to read the translation.
كان بوسعي أن أتشكل بالفيروز وأن أتثنى كالملكات. قد كان بوسعي، قد كان بوسعي أن لا أفعل شيئا، أن لا أقرأ شيئا، أن لا أكتب شيئا، أن أتفرغ للأضواء وللأزياء وللرحلات. قد كان بوسعي، قد كان بوسعي، قد كان بوسعي أن لا أفعل شيئا، أن لا أكتب شيئا، أن لا أقرأ شيئا، أن أتفرغ للأضواء وللأزياء وللرحلات. قد كان بوسعي أن لا أرفض، أن لا أغضب، أن لا أصرخ في وجه المأساة. قد كان بوسعي أن أبتلع الدمع وأن أبتلع القمع وأن أتأقلم مثل جميع المسجونات. قد كان بوسعي أن أتجنب أسئلة التاريخ وأهرب من تعذيب الذات. قد كان بوسعي أن أتجنب آهة كل المسحوقين وصرخة كل المسحوقين وثورة آلاف الأموات. قد كان بوسعي أن أتجنب آهة كل المسحوقين وصرخة كل المحزونين وثورة آلاف الأموات. لكني خنت قوانين الأنثى واخترت مواجهة الكلمات.
قد كان بوسعي. قد كان بوسعي, this is translated, I could have done. I could have. I could have done nothing, read nothing, written nothing, devoted my time to seeking the limelight, to the latest fashions, to traveling the world. I could have avoided refusal, avoided being full of rage or shouting in the face of the tragedy. I could have swallowed the tears, swallowed the repression, grown resigned to embarrassment. I could have avoided the questions of history and escaped the self-torture. I could have avoided the sighs of all the downtrodden people, the cries of all the crushed people, the revolt of the thousands who have died. But I betrayed the law of the female and chose to grapple with words. Grapple means fight, fight with words. Repression, repression means aggression, torture. Downtrodden, downtrodden means weak people. So here she has written this poem about the Palestinian prisoners and children who are suffering the Israeli attack. In this poem, she uses metaphors and similes. في صور بلاغية موجودة في الشعر. metaphor استعارة, simile تشبيه. What's a metaphor? A metaphor compares two images, ideas, or things by making a direct identification between them. يبقى الميتافور هي بتقارن بين صورتين، فكرتين، بشيئين بشكل مباشر بدون استخدام ايه؟ بدون استخدام أداة تشبيه. The king is a lion. The king is a lion is a simple example of a metaphor. A simile compares two images, ideas, or things by using a word such as like or as to make the comparison explicit. يبقى هنا بيستخدم بيقارن بين صورتين، فكرتين أو شيئين بس مع وجود أداة تشبيه اللي هي like أو as. The king is like a lion is a simple example of a simile. Now let's go back to the poem written by Sheikh Saad Muhammad Sabah and extract the metaphors she uses in her poem. استخرج بقى الصور البلاغية زي الاستعارة موجودة. Read and find. I could have done nothing, read nothing, written nothing, devoted my time to seeking the limelight, to the latest fashions, to traveling the world. I could have avoided refusal, avoided being full of rage, or shouting in the face of the tragedy. Shouting in the face of the tragedy is an example for a metaphor. Here she describes the tragedy as like what? A creature or a human being which has a face. She's going to shout in the face of the tragedy. I could have swallowed the tears. Swallowed the tears. This is a metaphor. She explains what or describes the tears, دموع, such as what? As something she can swallow, like food or pills or medicine, she can swallow. Now, who can find some metaphors in her poem? Yusuf Sami.
metaphor I'll make you eat your words.
ايوه بس مش موجوده في القصيده صح؟ الجمله اللي انت كتبت اللي قلتها صح موجوده في امثله بعد كده. ايوه بس مش موجوده. انا طبعا هكتبها بعد شويه. اوكي بس عايزين نجيبها منين يا يوسف؟ من القصيده. اوكي من القصيده. ثانك يو يوسف.
أصلها ماشي.
Yes. Did you find anything?
No.
اوكي عز الدين اللي شاطر في الادب والشعر هيطلع الصور البلاغيه الموجوده. إلاري.
Being full of rage.
Being full of rage. Yes. Being full of rage. Good. And I could have avoided the questions of history. Here she describes history as someone who's asking her questions. And it chose to grapple with words. Grapple means fight. Grapple with words. Here she describes the words as a weapon or a sword she uses to fight with. Okay, thank you. So here, the example Yusuf mentioned, Yusuf Salah, he said that I'll make you eat your words. This is a metaphor. Ali runs as a horse. This is a simile. These are other examples not from the passage or the poem. Now, let's answer some important questions about this famous character. What has Sheikh Saad Muhammad Sabah contributed? How has Sheikh Saad Muhammad Sabah contributed to the Arabic culture? كيف ساهمت في الثقافة العربية? How has she contributed to the Arabic culture? عمرو محمود.
She has founded a library prize.
A literary prize that carries her name. أسست وأنشأت جائزة أدبية من اسمها. A literary prize. Good. خالد. شمس الدين.
نعم أستاذ.
Yes. Why do you raise your hand? Lower your hand, please. So Sheikh Saad Muhammad Sabah has published several books of poetry. نشرت العديد من كتب الشعر. She has founded a literary prize that carries her name. Okay, what do you think the secret behind women's success is? في رأيك ما هو السر وراء نجاح النساء العربيات خاصة أن المجتمع الخليجي women are leading the community. What do you think the secret behind women's success is? أحمد السيد.
They have a strong will.
Very good. Yes, they have strong will. Excellent. الفلكي.
معك يا أستاذ. My point of view, I say they are highly ambitious for developing their countries.
They are highly ambitious. Yes, ambitious. طموحات. In developing her country في تنمية وطنها. So they have, as your friend said, Ahmed Sayed, they have strong will. They have strong determination. They do their best. They exert a lot of effort to achieve their ambitions, dreams. So they have strong will and self-confidence. ثقة بالنفس. They are highly ambitious for developing their countries. Okay. Here, this is a brief note about what? About Sheikha Saad Muhammad Sabah. She was born in 1942 in Kuwait into the ruling family. So how old is she now? Who's good at math? How old is she now? How old is she? Abdullah Mustafa.
معك يا أستاذ.
How old is she now?
How old is she now? Okay.
Ayub bin Farid.
Like 55 years?
No, Ayub bin Farid.
79.
79. Yes, very good. She is 79 years old now. Okay, the first sentence, who can read? Khalid Ali. Khalid Ali, what do you know about Sheikh Saad?
She has published several books of poetry.
Very good.
She owns a publishing and distribution house.
Yes,
she has a
very good.
doctorate in economics.
Thank you. She has a doctorate in economics. Good. Ibrahim Abdel Nasser.
يا أستاذ.
Ibrahim Abdel Nasser.
أيوة يا أستاذ
What do you know
محمد.
about her? She's a famous Kuwaiti poet.
She is a famous woman in Kuwait.
Woman Kuwaiti or Kuwaiti woman?
Kuwaiti woman.
Yes, from the ruling family. Okay. Ibrahim Mukhtar. Ahmed Mahmoud. Hazim.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
She has a doctorate in economics.
Very good. Hazim.
She owns a publishing and distribution house.
Very good. Subhi.
She has doctorate in economic.
She has published.
She has published several books of poetry.
Poetry. Thank you. Okay. Sheikh Saad al-Sabah is a good example of modern women. Explain. Who can give me some ideas here? How is Sheikh Saad al-Sabah a good example of modern women? Muhammad Majdi.
معك أستاذ.
Yes. Yusuf Ala. Yes.
Example of modern woman.
Yes. How?
She write a lot of essays.
Yes, very good.
في كلمة بس بالعربي مش عارف معناها بالإنجليزي.
ما موجودة في الكتاب عندك يا يوسف. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you, Muhammad Majdi. Okay. She graduated from the university and obtained a doctorate in economy. She has published several books of poetry. She established a literary prize that carries her name. Other questions. What is Sheikh Saad Muhammad Sabah's role in encouraging the Arabic literature? ما هو دورها في تشجيع الثقافة أو الأدب العربي؟ What is her role in encouraging the Arabic literature? أسئلة استنتاجية يا شباب، فكر كده. عمرو محمود.
She has founded a literary prize.
A literary prize. A literary prize. Yes. In poetry. Yes. That carries her name. Abdullah Mustafa.
معك يا أستاذ.
Yes.
Because she spreads her ideas.
She creates her ideas. She owns her distribution and publishing house. عندها دار النشر والتوزيع خاصة بها. She wrote several books of poetry. She wrote or published thousands of essays in economics, etc. Okay. Do you think that literature can improve our everyday life? How? الناس اللي بتحب الشعر، الناس اللي بتحب الأدب، هل أعتقد أن الأدب ممكن يحسن من حياتنا اليومية؟ Do you think that literature can improve our everyday life? How? How can literature improve our everyday life?
أجاوب أستاذ.
Yes, Abdullah. Okay.
It helps us see life in another way.
Good. Ilari?
It enlightens the brain and it is a good form of education.
Good. So it helps us to behave well, or it teaches us to behave well. It teaches us morals, lessons in life, and people can use literature to express their feelings, to express their opinions. As you see, in the last years, in the spring, in the Arabic spring for Rabi al-Arabi, there are many revolutions all over the world or in the Arab countries. People, especially poets and writers, they use poems and poetry to help or to motivate people to fight for their freedom, to fight for their rights. Okay? These are some of the difficult words that were used in the translation of her poem. Limelight means public attention and interest. Refusal, when someone refuses to do or accept something. Swallowed, to cause food or drink, bells, etc. to move from your mouth into your stomach by using the muscles of your throat, or to use the muscles of your throat as if doing this. Downtrodden, badly and unfairly treated. Downtrodden people means the suffering people, الناس اللي بيعانوا. Grapple means fight. She's going to fight with words. Grapple, especially in order to win something. There are some questions you can discuss after reading the poem. What is the attitude of the speaker towards the traditional rule of women? لكن ما هو دور أو اتجاه موقف المتحدثة أو الكاتبة الشاعرة تجاه دور التقليد للمرأة أو النساء؟ She doesn't accept that women only or were born to look after the children, but to express their feelings, to express how they or to fight for for the suffering of people. The phrase I could is repeated many times in the poem. Why do you think this is? ليه تكرار العبارة I could? What decision does the speaker come to at the end of the poem؟ يعني ما هو القرار وصلت ليه في نهاية القصيدة؟ Does the poem have a message? If yes, what is it? Of course, any poem has got a message or a moral. What is the moral or the message she wants to convey or to send? In this lesson, we learn. Yes, Ilari or Abdullah, would you like to say?
Yes, it has the ability to do something very efficiently.
Yes, good. Ilari?
It shows that women are capable and they should choose to be educated well and not only look to wasteful.
Look after the children or look after the house.
Yes.
Good, thank you. In this lesson, we learn some figurative images like a metaphor and a simile. عايزين نركز على الجزء ده يا شباب الميتافور والسيميلي. As you are supposed to write an essay, a descriptive essay زي ما احنا قلنا المقالة الوصفية you should use images or similes, metaphors. So a metaphor compares two images, ideas, or things by making a direct identification between them. And a simile compared to images, ideas, or things by using a word such as like or as. Let's see here some examples of simile. شوفوا الأمثلة للتشبيه. Her words were as clear as crystal. في المشبه مشبه به وأداة تشبيه. As clear as crystal. So she describes her words as crystal. The plane flew like a bird, and you have the word like. So the plane describes the plane as a bird. She is as bright as the moon. She is like the moon. The stars shine like diamonds in the sky. The stars as diamonds. The weather was as hot as an oven. It's very hot. The weather is like an oven. So these are some examples of a simile. Let's see a metaphor. I was lost in a sea of ideas. ضعت في بحر من الأفكار. She describes her ideas as a sea. She died of happiness when she heard the news. She describes happiness as something that causes death. The mother walked in with an army of children. She describes her children as an army because there are a lot of children. Hope was leading the way to peace. She describes what hope as someone who guides or leads people to the way of peace. Okay, I'm going to concentrate on how to make passive. As we told you, it's very important to learn how to change things from active into passive. An active, it means you start with a subject and then verb, object. Abdullah plays football. You know who plays football? Abdullah. Abdullah plays football. But if you start with football, football is played by Abdullah. It's not important to mention the doer or the subject who did the action, Abdullah. Football is played. So when we change the sentence from active into passive, we start with the object and then we use verb to be according to the tense. بنحدد زمن verb to be حسب زمن الفعل. And then we use the object. Look at these exercises here or sentences on the screen. These are some difficult sentences. The first one here is negative. They don't pay Tom very much. هنا جملة منفية وبيقول لك حولها الباسف. أما تلاقي جملة منفية ب don't, doesn't, didn't دي we don't use don't, doesn't, didn't in passive. نعتبرها جملة مش منفية ونحولها الباسف. أبدأ بكلمة توم. Let's see. أيوب بن فريد.
تتجاوب على طول يعني؟
Yes, Ayub.
Tom is not paid very much.
Tom is not paid very much. هنا أيوب answered it well. Very good أيوب. توم بدأ بيها في الأول وقال لك don't doesn't didn't ما استخدمش في الباسيف، بستخدم is وأن فيها isn't تصرف من pay paid very much. عاوز تكتب الفعل by them مش مهمة. Tom isn't paid very much. طب الجملة الثانية منفية بس منفية بنوبادي. الجملة انه منفية بنوبادي هنا اعتبر ان الجملة مش منفية واحولها لباسيف وبعد كده انفيها. Nobody told me that Hamad was ill. ولا واحد قال لي ان حمد كان مريض. Nobody told me that Hamad was ill. We start with I. إلاري.
I wasn't told that Ahmed
that
Hamad had been ill أو was ill.
مش لازم نحدد yes. مش لازم نحدد body or past perfect لا. يبقى هنا I wasn't told. هنا nobody منفية. أبدأ الجملة بمي أحول مي لإيه يا عمر؟ لI. وهنا told past simple أقول I was not I were. I was told negative. I wasn't told that Hamad was ill. I wasn't told that Hamad was ill. Okay. Number 3. I think they should have offered Adil the job. هنا في جملة أساسية وجملة مش أساسية. I think دي مش مهمة. هنا they should have offered Adil the job. أكتب I think زي ما هي ونفكر نشوف في المفعول بها أبدأ به في الأول. They, this is the subject. And you have two objects. You have Adil and the job. يبقى في إجابتين للجملة دي. لما تلاقي في مفعول به عاقل ومفعول به غير عاقل ممكن نبدأ بآدل أو ممكن نبدأ بذا job. بس هيكون في preposition قبل آدل. يعني هم 3 بس اللي فاهمين والباقي مش فاهم. عبد الله الفلكي.
I think Adil have been offered
the job.
I think should yes the job.
I think Adil يلا.
I think Adil have been offered the job.
طب انت كلمة should ما قلتهاش ليه؟ هنا should have offered.
I think should Adil have been offered the job.
I think should Adil ولا Adil should؟
Adil should. Sorry, Adil should.
Again عبد الله.
I think Adil should have been offered the job.
Yes, very good. I think Adil should have been offered. هنا this model perfect. عندك should have will be أو must have be could have be might have be لازم نحط كلمة been. يبقى I think Adil should have been offered the job. Who can start with the job? Let's see. Ayub bin Farid.
I think the job should have been offered to Adil.
Very good. I think the job should have been offered to Adil. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop recording here. انتبهوا معايا عشان ناخد منك اسجل